first, publicly traded companies that are doing work. And then secondly, it says that the U.S. government is not going to contract with any of those companies. Is that all we did in South Africa, or was the South African sanction actually a broader sanction, which was an actual prohibition against other companies from doing business in South Africa? Do you understand my question? In other words, is this incremental? Is this a baby step, sort of a junior varsity sanctions, to put it that way? Or is this as good as it gets?
In my opinion, this is as good as it gets. It deals with what we have authority over. As you know, because of 97 sanctions, U.S. companies can't do business in Sudan anyway.
Okay, that's the piece that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that a little bit more detail to me?
Well, during the Clinton administration, there was a strike, you recall, on the drug factory, and because Sudan was violating laws, the executive branch put sanctions on the government of Sudan. So U.S. companies, that's why there's no U.S. companies in Sudan. Don't you know? They'd be running around there too if it wasn't for our sanctions. Now, so the U.S. had sanctions on U.S. companies. Also, Charlie Rangel had legislation of double taxation, that anybody who was in South Africa had to pay double taxes. It was a quiet thing that was there, in addition to the Comprehensive Anti-Apartheid Act, which was another thing. So it was a combination of different sanction bills. But this is, I believe, and I'm not, a financial guy, but I think this is about as much as we can do, saying that our public pension monies cannot be invested in any of those companies doing business in Sudan. U.S. companies are restricted anyway. So, and one other thing that we've done, I have been working on language, which I'm going to introduce, because we got to figure out different ways that would block oil tankers who dock at the port of Sudan from entering U.S. ports. That's where they come. So I'd like to talk to you about some, language where it was in our, it was in 1424 last session, which didn't go through, but this would primarily hurt China because, of course, they're offloading the oil in Sudan and coming into U.S. ports. So if we continue to get the word out, I mean, people never thought about diamonds until blood diamonds and that whole question about Kimberley process, and now people are saying, well, we want to make sure that these diamonds are real. So believe me, to bring attention, economic pressure is about the only thing we could do. I would like to see a force go in, but that's, no one's going to do that.
Anybody else in terms of an observation on that? Yes.
Yes, let me say, and I was very involved as a student in the anti-apartheid movement, and an additional measure in California that we mounted was prohibiting the unloading of cargo through our ports from South Africa. I'm not sure if that became a national effort, but that certainly occurred in California. Also, with regard to the preemption provision of this legislation, and I'll get back to you with regard to what the law was at that point, because now what we're finding is there are lawsuits being, that are challenging the states in their divestment efforts. I don't recall those challenges during the anti-apartheid movement, but we decided in this bill we would definitely put a provision that would allow states to do what they need to do. Finally, Mr. Chairman, let me just say, with regard to the bill, I wanted to make this general statement. I think I said earlier, this is going after the bad actors, the companies that are perpetrating genocide or using their investments which allow the Khartoum government to perpetrate genocide in the Sudan. We have a section of the bill on page 10 and 11 that does allow for some exceptions, and that is for those companies that are not doing this, but also those companies that are working to implement the Darfur Peace and Accountability, Darfur Peace Agreement in May of 2006. Also those companies that are providing humanitarian assistance, that are working with the people in the South. And so this is a bill that's very narrowly crafted to go after the bad actors, the most egregious companies that are allowing, either by design or not, or through their investments, you know, the genocide to continue to be perpetrated.
Thank you.
One last point on that. We had capital market sanctions passed. Congressman Tancredo, Congressman Wolf, all of us supported capital market sanctions, which meant that if you did business on Wall Street, you couldn't. If you did business in Sudan and went to Wall Street, you were out. Now, that was the hammer. Greenspan came up and met with the senators and said, you just can't let this go on. It'll just disrupt. It's just it's not our place. And our capital market sanctions, which we passed it in the House. Like I said, one of my biggest supporters on that bill was Congressman Tancredo, who stood up and fought. You remember, Frank? And we passed it. It took Greenspan from Wall Street sent him here to say, kill that bill that Payne and Tancredo and those guys are pushing. So, you know, we've got a lot of business people that just feel that they have to move on.
We've got about 7 minutes left before the next vote on our side. I want to say thank you to Senator Brownback for being here, to Congressman Payne and Wolf, and my good friend Barbara Lee for introducing the bill. We're going to get this done. We will resume 5 minutes. We'll recess. 5 minutes after the last vote, we will reconvene for the second panel.
I'm looking right now. See, we got another one. That's the last one there, but I have to get creative. How are you doing? You doing well yourself? I'm glad to see you. What was the, that's good.